Hey everyone, and welcome to my very first WandaVision review. So the first two episodes came out today, and I thought it's a long-awaited series to kick off the MCU Disney Plus originals. So I thought I would do a bit of a review of them. So like I said, episode 1 and 2 was released today. So I thought I'd have a chat about both of them together. So first of all, I'm going to talk in general and not go into any spoilers, but then I will give a bit of a spoiler warning, and we'll talk some more itty bitty gritties. I'm not going to go into too much detail about anything in there because I do want you to watch it, but if you do want to pop a comment down below and we shall have a little chat about everything, but please do put a spoiler warning before your comment. But yes, hello there everyone, and so episode 1 and 2, brilliant. I thought they were really good. So let's talk a little bit more about them. So the first episode kicks off with the Marvel Studios animated logo, and then it goes into grayscale or black and white and into a 4:3 ratio. Now 4:3 is the square box, like when you used to have on a tube television before the flat screen TVs and stuff, because then when flat screen come out, or in cinemas, you have the wide screens, which is 16:9 ratio, and you either got full wide or the letterbox. But yeah, it's like, I thought that was a really nice touch to bring in as 4:3 as well as black and white to give that old school style sitcom on there. And talk about that, the sitcom side, it was very much like an old 50s or 60s sitcom where they had they was obviously black and white, but they had like a laughing track to go over when there was jokes and things like that, like pretending there was people in the audience, but there's not. Even in actual sitcoms, they usually have that. It's just a laughing track that they play over the top of it, down to the little jingles, so the little music that goes on during scene changes or when something happens. Very much on par with that era's sitcoms and stuff, and the humor, very exaggerated humor, just like all the sitcoms. The characters are over the top again, much like the much like the sitcoms of then, and it works, to be honest, because of you're like trying to figure out what's going on. So it's like, why is it like this? And obviously they do still have their powers in it. That's no spoiler really. They are still Vision and Wanda, so they trying to hide their powers and things. So that was quite fun to watch there. I thought, well, with Wanda, so Elizabeth Olsen, she does have put on an American accent, and obviously everyone who knows Wanda from or Scarlet Witch from Marvel Cinematic Universe would know that she's got more of a European style accent, but in this it is an American accent, and it's a very exaggerated American accent, which I found quite interesting. So we'll see how that progresses with the story when she starts to come out of this sitcom world, if you will. That's not really a spoiler, as everyone knows from the trailers that it goes from grayscale into color at some point in the whole thing. What else can I talk about that's not spoilery? Let's have a little look at my notes here. I do believe it's like that is all. I've got a lot of notes, but for me, it's refreshing. It's what we need, and obviously after last year, not having a lot of content on Disney Plus, as in the ways of originals, it's great now to finally have the kickoff of the Marvel Disney Plus original series, and we do know there's a lot coming, so make sure to check out my video on the Investors Day, where I go through all those different shows. On that, I'll try and leave the link in the description and at the end as well for that, but do keep an eye out for that. We do Disney Plus videos every Wednesday, so there'll be bits of news here and there everywhere, as well as our What's On videos, so just check out those. And every Friday now I'm going to be doing these videos, hopefully, if work depending, because I got to do this just before I start work. Yeah, so let's have a look then. So brilliant. It's like I thought Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany, they've done a great job. They've always done a great job as those characters. I love Paul Bettany. To be honest, in these first 2 episodes, he does remind me a little bit of his character in A Knight's Tale, the way that he's projecting his voice and stuff like that. But yeah, he's obviously still Vision, but it's a great. They bring on the characters really well, I thought. But we're going to move into spoiler territory now, so if you are stopping there, then thanks very much for watching. Once you do watch the episodes, do pop back and have a listen to the rest of what I've got to say and have a chat in the comments. Like I said, if you could put a spoiler warning before your comment, that'd be great, so others don't get any spoilers from the comments. So that is a bit of a thing as well. It's like, if you don't want any spoilers, don't read the comments until you've seen the episode, or if you do want to see spoilers, then crack on. Yeah, again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to look at all our links here, and also you can go onto our Patreon, which is patreon.com/Skybot film. But we're going to move on now to the spoilers. I think I've given you enough time to stop. So episode 1, right, what can I say about that? So it's it's the first episode, so it's purely down to this sitcom, and it's like the running thing of the date. It's like, well, what's that date? It's like, I can't remember. Now that is a theme throughout the first 2 episodes, really, mainly the first episode, of not remembering things, and going around to the end of it, it's like they can't remember when they got married, what their wedding song was, how they got there, where they come from, and stuff like that. So that plays a massive part, and I thought that was good, where they were sitting around the dinner table and they were questioning, when did you get married? And they genuinely don't remember. So that is good. That's a foresight of, like, they're not there of their own will, if you know what I mean. And also, it's like that theme does run into episode 2, but not as much. But if we just stick with episode 1 at the moment, so they, like I said earlier, they still do have their powers, but right at the end, Vision's boss comes over for dinner, and he starts choking, and Wanda and Vision just sitting there and looking at each other, and it's just like, until Wanda orders Vision to help the boss, and he uses like hand to morph into the body to bring out the food, and then they pretty much like go, oh right, time to go, and they leave then. But it's not like, it's kind of like the character of the boss knows something's up, but then instantly forgets it, which is quite interesting, really. It's like if they programmed to run as these characters, and then if something happens, they like react, but then the programming kicks back in, which is quite interesting to me, really. And with that, it's like Wanda telling him to do it. It's like, to me, that's very much like what happens in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's like Vision will do anything for Wanda, really, but she's actually now putting her foot down, saying help him and things like that. So yeah, that was quite interesting. Anything else but specific about the first episode? Not really, no. I've covered it in the spoiler-free section. But something I didn't say in the spoiler-free is in episode 1 and 2, there is a advert that comes on, very much still in the style of old school. It's a toaster advert, so it's not a real product, because it's a Stark Industries advert, which is quite cool. And in episode 2, they have a watch advert, and if you look underneath the hands, it says Hydra on there, so that's quite interesting. So right at the end credits look like they're going to be what the title sequence is going to be right at the beginning for episode 3, I think. It's very much like a proper title sequence and not your end credit sequence. There's no post-credit scene as well, so the credits do run a little bit on, and then you get the option to skip to the next episode, which is interesting because they usually go straight away on there. But that's it for episode 1. Let's have a look at episode 2. So the Marvel titles on this one are in full colour, first of all, and then it goes into the 4x3 black and white, and the title sequence. So in the first one, it was an old school style live action title sequence, whereas the second one is more of an animated, like the Jetsons type of animation, and still again in the old style with black and white, and just WandaVision type things. So it's like if WandaVision is a sitcom in the 60s. So a little bit of an Easter egg with the cabinet that is revealed, the magic cabinet. And if you look at the top, the head kind of looks like Vision's head, as like a logo type thing on there, which is pretty cool. And throughout it, they this episode, it's little hints to Wanda that things aren't right. So you're banging and stuff, and in fact, turn out to be it's the trees outside, which is that's hilarious right at the start. But then the second time she hears this bang, she goes outside and finds this helicopter, and this helicopter is in the bush, but it's red. Everything else is black and white, but it's in full color, this helicopter, and really reminded me of the film, I think it's Pleasantville, where everything's black and white, and then certain things happen and colour starts appearing, and that's when things start to change in that film. So I think this is very much the same with WandaVision. It's like she's noticed colour now, and it's like, what is this? And one of her neighbours comes over and she drops it, and that's that. Then she literally drops the thought at that time. But I thought the effects of the colouring was brilliant. There was no like bleed or anything like that. You could see it was spotless. You could and seamless. You couldn't really see it. So they've done great work on that. Some of the jokes in it is like Vision would say like, I don't need food. He stumbles upon that and he's like, in between meals. And so it's like, that's great. Again, the humour is very sitcom-y and it works with it. So I can't wait to see how they turn it into more of this grittier modern day series than a old school sitcom. So next thing that makes Wanda twig what's happening is the radio starts playing, and when she's like, things are going in her mind, and things starting to unravel, the radio changes then, because obviously one of the head neighbours starts like saying, it's like, we know about you, and Wanda starts to panic. So then the radio starts changing, and it says, help me, Wanda, help. And that song comes on, and then there's voices then coming through the radio. It's like, who is doing this, Wanda? It's like, who's doing this to you? And it's like, that's interesting. Very, very Lost vibes and stuff there. So it does seem like it's all in Wanda's head and she's in control of it. But whoever is controlling that is like, is playing the pulling the strings and things like that on there. So this, like I said, I've already talked about the advert halfway through. I love the bit where Vision has a chewing gum and it goes down, and there's like an animation of the chewing gum clogging up his mechanical insides, and that makes him act drunk, which is a bit surreal, but is a bit of it's that sitcom comedy there, and they do the magic show and it's a bit fun. But it's interesting with the magic show that it shows more of Wanda's comic book powers, less than the MCU powers, whereas MCU she just had this red mist and she could manipulate things and stuff like that, and she's just like, it's mainly telekinesis she mainly uses her powers in the MCU, but in comic books she can do anything at all, and this shows it because she makes things appear she makes things change. So in the magic show, she makes a pulley appear, and she turns the piano into a cardboard cutout as well. So I thought that was really, really good. That they started pulling in these. They put it in your mind. She can do more than just move things with her mind, which that is Scarlet Witch. Let me just have a quick little check. Anything else? So yeah, so then coming up to the end then, so this is a major spoiler, sorry, but this is a major spoiler. It's like, they, after all the talent show and everything goes on, they go back to the house, and it's all about for the children, and she gets up to go to the kitchen, and she's magically pregnant, and it's just like, oh, what's going on? And so Vision, it's like saying, oh, it's wonderful, blah blah blah, and then there's a bang outside, so they go out and investigate, and then a drain pipe opens up, and a beekeeper comes out with the logo on the back. So at the end of episode 1, when it zooms out of the 4x3 onto somebody watching it and writing notes, and there's a logo. I'm not too sure of the logo, so if you guys know, then pop it in the comments below. So they close the book, and that logo's on there. So coming at the end of the episode 2, this beekeeper comes out, and that logo is on the back, and as he turns, you can't see his face, it's all blacked out, and then Wanda goes no, and rewinds time, like a rewinding on a VHS, so everything's like going all like that, and that is really interesting, and they replay that bit then just before the bang, and they kiss, and Vision becomes in color, and they're like, what? And then everything comes in color. It stays 4x3, but everything is now in color. So I am really, really looking forward to episode 3 to see how things unravel a bit more. Is she going to keep up this American accent, or is she going to go more into her Sokovian accent? Oh, I don't know, guys. It is good. It's like, it was just a nice watch this morning. But now I know things are going to start really cranking up, and we're going to get a lot more questions before we get the answers. And yeah, I want to start thinking more about, oh, so who is behind this and stuff. But there you go. Pop your theories in the comments below as well, but make sure you put that spoiler warning down, please, to make sure that others don't get spoiled of the story. But that is it. I'm going to try and do these every Friday, like I said, but I do have to do these before work, so sometimes it might not work if I'm out and about, but hopefully we can carry on doing these every week, just have a little chat with you guys. But that is all from me anyway. Don't forget to click on our links up here. I'm not going to do all the spiel, you can read it in the comments, and that is it, guys. So I shall see you next time. Bye.